Welcome back to the secrets of writing a research paper. I'm Mr. Ewan, and I enjoy reading graphic novels. Here are some of my favorites: Death Note, American Born Chinese, and Here. There are lots of great graphic novels out there. If you haven't already, try one someday. Most libraries have a really great collection these days. In this lesson, I'll use a famous comic to teach you how to use quotations. As always, please feel free to pause, rewind, or rewatch this video as needed. Now, before I show you how to use a quotation, we need to ask ourselves, when should we use a quotation? Well, you might use a quotation when you want to boost the credibility of your argument by using the words of a trusted expert on your topic. You may also use a quotation when the language the author uses is so perfect or powerful that you could not paraphrase it effectively. You might also use a quotation when you want to analyze the speaker's words or argument, or when you want to counter the speaker's position in detail. But the two reasons on your screen are the reasons I think that will apply most to you in your research paper. Now, sometimes students ask, how many quotations do we need to use in this essay? Can you give us a number? I really do not like to answer this question because there's not a hard and fast rule for how often to use quotations. However, I can tell you that if you do not use a single quotation, your essay probably is not as effective as it could be. On the other hand, if 50% of the evidence you present comes in the form of quotations, your essay is probably not very effective either because you've used too many. If you twisted my arm and forced me to give you a number, I would say that in a research paper, of every 10 in-text citations, maybe around 2 are for quotations. Again, that's not a hard and fast rule. Now, some teachers will require you to use a certain number of quotations in your paper because they want you to practice using them. So make sure you double check your requirements or your rubric before continuing. But anyway, the pro tip is use quotations like a secret weapon. Use them sparingly, but use them effectively. So how do you introduce a quotation when you found one that is going to be really effective for your particular essay? Well, in order to provide your readers with the full picture and use the full power of the quotation, you must do 3 things when introducing it. First, identify the speaker or the writer. Provide the speaker's credentials or their background. This would be details that prove this person is an expert in the topic being discussed. And finally, give some context. This could be where or when the quotation was written or said, in what book or in what essay, or even just about what the writer is speaking or the speaker is speaking. So, using these 3 things, I've introduced the quotation from Charlie Brown here. And the sentence reads, Charlie Brown, the school crossing guard, held up his stop sign on Tuesday morning and urgently shouted, "Let's move along there." Now, I've given the reader the full picture because I've identified the speaker, provided his credentials or his area of expertise, given some context about, in this case, how and when he said this, and of course, I've got the quotation there. Now, here's a pro tip. When quoting an expert for a second time, you do not have to fully introduce the quotation. What that means is you don't have to repeat their expertise or their credentials. You can just reintroduce the person. You don't have to go through all 3 of those steps. But again, that's only when you've already quoted an expert and you're quoting them again for a second time. So we also need to talk about how to punctuate and cite a quotation correctly. In another example here, I've written, for example, popular R&B artist India Re observed the materialism permeating society in her song Video when she sings, "My worth is not determined by the price of my clothes. No matter what I'm wearing, I will always be India Re." Now, again, quickly, we'll just go over the three parts of introducing this quotation. I've identified the speaker, provided her credentials, and given some context about what she's speaking of and where she spoke it. All right, now we can turn our attention to the punctuation here. After your verb, right, it'll be like writes, says, said, or in this case, sings. You put a comma, space, and then your first quotation marks. You'll capitalize the first letter of the first word of the quotation, even if it is not capitalized in the text that you're pulling it from. And then at the end of the quotation, after the last letter of the last word, you'll end the quotation, space, insert your citation, and then after the citation, you put a period. Now, one error I often see is students will put a period after RE, for example, and then a period after the citation. In MLA format, we're instructed to end the quotation and move that period to the end of the actual sentence, which in this case is after the citation. Next, let's talk about how to cite a quotation when the source is referenced in the sentence. So the example I just provided you is actually a good example of this. So in the sentence, I've identified the speaker as India Re, and the citation I would use would be Re. So I'll be able to find Re, India, as the first item listed in a works cited entry. So because I've identified the source in introducing the quotation, I do not need to provide an in-text citation here. However, if I did not provide the source in the introduction of the quotation, then I would need to have a citation there. All right. Next, let's talk about how to cite a quotation that was quoted in your source. So let's make that clearer with a visual. So let's say you read this in a source. Right? This is from an article, but that article is quoting this person from a different source. So Malcolm Gladwell wrote this in a book, and then you're reading it in an article that someone else wrote. So when you go to put this into your essay, you've removed it twice from its original source. So what you need to do is say that this was quoted in, and then your citation. Because we know that Malcolm Gladwell wrote this in a book, another author quoted it in an article, and now you're taking that quotation from the article. So simply, when that happens, you put QTD, period, space, the word in, a space, and then the normal citation for the article. That tells us as readers that, again, this was quoted in an article, but that quote came from a different source originally. All right. So you'll want to watch the next lesson before you begin writing your body paragraphs in earnest. But after this lesson, you should be able to identify the three pieces of information you must include when introducing a quotation. You should be able to effectively select and introduce quotations. And you should be able to properly cite quotations. As always, consult your assignment schedule or check with your teacher to determine exactly what is expected of you next. In the next lesson, I'll show you how to explain or elaborate in your body paragraphs, and then how to write an introduction paragraph.